Here's the 5 going fucking brazy on the taxpayer-funded handout.
Finally did it. President Biden giving the handout of a century, canceling $10,000 worth of student debt for those making less than $125,000 a year and erasing up to $20,000 for some low-income borrowers. But it's not free money. The entire plan coming with a price tag of around $300 billion, and that's just a low estimate. And taxpayers like you and me, we will foot the bill. Here's the president.
But I believe my plan is responsible and fair. I find it interesting how some of my Republican friends who voted for those tax cuts and others think that we shouldn't be helping these folks. The outrage over helping working people with student loans, I think is just simply wrong, dead wrong.
Is this unfair to people who paid their student loans or chose not to take out loans?
Is it fair to people who, in fact, do not own multi-billion-dollar businesses to see why these guys get them all a tax breaks? Is that fair? What do you think?
What about people who pay their loans, though, struggle to pay their loans, and now others don't have to?
Bro, I'm not kidding. If you're so bent, take back the PPP from every single person. I know I said this yesterday, but put up a fucking bill that takes back the loan forgiveness off of every fucking mega corporation, every fucking CEO, every consultant, every executive, every lobbyist that chirped about the student loan forgiveness. Turn around and say, okay, you're going to pay for it then. Directly out of your pocket. You love paying for your debts. I don't get it. Just do that. There's about a $1 trillion fucking hole in the budget there. Take it back from the executive purses. Do it. It's not fair. They're right, it's not fair. This would be fair. Let's do that. Take it from Marjorie Taylor Greene, who got $200,000 from the federal government in the form of a PPP loan that was forgiven. I don't get it. If you want to fucking pay, if you want to pay your debts, you can. Why don't they do this? Why don't they just say, hey, if you're going to talk out of pocket, I will come for your pocket. I will do it. I will come with all the guns. I will put a lien. I will make you foreclose your home. I'll put a lien on all your assets. I'll seize them. And I'll fucking liquidate them with the might of 1,000 workers, okay? With 1 million workers. Do it. You want to pay your loans? Pay your fucking PPP loans, you stupid bitch. Do it.
The costly cancellation of debt sure to unleash a tidal wave of anger from Americans who already paid off their loans and those who never went to college in the first place. But Senator Elizabeth Warren claims this will help everyone.
Because of student loan debt, there are many people who don't move out of their mama's basement, who can't save up money to buy a home, who don't start small businesses, who don't start a family. You relieve the debt burden some for those people, and we have more economic activity. In other words, canceling student loan debt is good for the people whose debt is canceled, but it is also good for our economy and the rest of America.
Peter Doocy bluntly asking the White House this question.
The people that already paid their student loans, right, they don't get anything out of this deal.
Right.
That's right. Okay.
And other Democrats aren't so sure about this plans. Obama's former economic advisor, Jason Furman, he's slamming it.
I'm telling you, everyone crying about student loan debt relief must be forced to pay back their PPP loans with interest. Watch how quickly they'd become debt abolitionists.
saying this, pouring roughly $500 billion of gasoline on the inflationary fire that is already burning.
Just say Biden unfortunately wasn't president when they were in debt. I know it's a lib take, but at least it's an own. Wait, what do you mean? Debt cancellation happened now under Biden's watch. All those institutions that they supposedly set up to make sure that these companies that got PPP loans were actually going to make sure that they maintain their payroll, they didn't do that. That never happened.
Is reckless, doing it while going well beyond one campaign promise of $10,000 of student loan relief and breaking another, all proposals paid for, is even worse. I don't know if we could be any more surprised or shocked, except for we kind of saw this was coming, Jesse, because the president has been kicking this can down the road for several months. Not only that, but they say that if you have a student loan, you are still not going to have to pay for it until the end of the year when that will end, and that's because of a COVID emergency.
Just want to congratulate all the rich whites with graduate degrees who live on the coast and are making six figures. You really...
Yeah. Famously, no veteran, no nurse, no teacher. Bro, you're a rich white who lives on the coast. This is what I mean. Like, they are making it seem like 45 million Americans don't currently carry some level of student loan debt. This is an issue that impacts almost every American household, my man. The only households that it doesn't impact is you. You get it? That's it.
Are the forgotten men and women of this country, and you finally now have a president that feels your pain. You know, spending most of your 20s in school and now finally making close to $125,000. Woo, man. I mean, what would they do without Joe Biden? To Liz Warren's point, if this is a historic economy we've never seen before, why are people even living in their basement saddled with student debt who can't start a business? It doesn't make any sense. You cannot raid the Treasury and then cut checks to your favorite voters.
Why not?
Where did Biden get the power as the president to spend $500 billion? Right. That's Congress's job. He can't steal Nancy's purse and then just start bribing people before an election. That's an abuse of power. And it's unconstitutional. Nancy even said it was unconstitutional.
Suck me. Yeah, you can. And he did. Yeah, cry about institutions. Oh, no, the Constitution. I wiped my ass. Trump did it with the COVID loans before an election. Yeah. And that was good. I said it was good. I said it was necessary. Fuck you. That's the only counter I have to that. He can, and he fucking did, and now you're crying about it while still trying to maintain a right-wing populist narrative. But you can't really maintain that when you realize quickly that Republicans have student loan debt too, dumbass. 45 million Americans, dumbass.
This is reverse class warfare. It's like, I don't know, you rob the poor to pay the rich. You're going to get a plumber's family to pay off the loan of a graduate school family that's making $250,000 a year. Why should I have to pay, or anybody have to pay for my neighbor's graduate degree? I mean, you know, you're looking across the street, you see your neighbor's daughter, she just backed into your mail.
Again, the plumber has a kid with student loan debt. You want to know why? Because depending on whether he's involved in a union or not, or even owning his own plumbing business, he's still a small business owner and therefore can't pay for the skyrocketing college education for his children. A plumber doesn't want his child to go into plumbing. A plumber wants his child to get a graduate degree. So what is he going to do? He's going to take on student loan debt. Jesse Waters cannot comprehend it. You know why? Because he never had to think about these things. That's the point. Anyone making the argument that, like, you know, plumbers don't have fucking children that are going to college, or plumbers themselves might have fucking educational costs that they tried to get covered, are delusional. They're living in a fucking universe that is beyond the one that we live in. I think the thing driving this type of commentary is the fact that people don't qualify it, and they are throwing a tantrum as a part of that. Progressives warned the White House of this reaction with means testing it. Yeah, that's another part of the process, which is why, what do I always say? H-Bizzle's back. Surprising that H-Bizzle, everyone's favorite DNC hack, DNC flag, is in the chat, back again, and not watching like Buddha play Grand Theft Auto roleplay. And instead is in here advocating for the DNC's. He's the only motherfucker who's legally allowed in this community to advocate for the DNC because he has the pay stubs to prove it. But he's right. That's why I always say universal programs up front and then means testing if you want to on the tax side, on the back end.
Box. She's always been an idiot, and now you have to pay for her to get an advanced degree in Estonian poetry? I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all. And you think the Democrats are going to stop at 10 grand? They're not stopping at 10 grand. Next Democrat's going to go 25. Next is going to go 50. It's never going to stop.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
And then people are just going to keep borrowing and keep going into these schools, because that's what this is about. This is about hooking more students into these universities where they get indoctrinated by the left. That's what this is really about. Now, he says the tax cuts, okay? This is a lot different than tax cuts. Everybody gets a tax cut. Everybody that pays taxes gets a tax cut when the taxes get cut.
That's not true. That's not true. Trump made permanent tax cuts for the top tax bracket. And all the tax cuts that he had made for lower brackets expired. So no, permanent tax cuts only come for the wealthy. But you will never hear these dishonest propagandists openly admitting that. Remember that. Tax cuts for corporations and the top fucking tax bracket were permanent. Anything below that was adjusted year over year, going back to that exact same rate it was. Did you know that? Did you motherfuckers know that? Probably not. I talked about it a lot when it was happening.
It's not like Donald Trump cut taxes for males in the swing states of Ohio and Florida and North Carolina 3 months before the midterms. That's not what he did. Everybody got it across the board tax cut. He's not transferring wealth to pay off people's loans.
The other thing that kills me is that just last
86% of the tax benefit went to the 86% of the tax cuts went to the top tax bracket. For the record. So no, Donald Trump did do it for his main constituency, just the mega wealthy. So remember, when you talk about Donald Trump's tax cuts, always bring that up. Tax cuts for the wealthy were permanent. Tax cuts for the working poor were not. They are supposed to sunset by the time the next election rolls around.
Last week, the president, to much fanfare, signed the Inflation Reduction Act, in which they said there would be all of this deficit savings. Well, with this on the low end, it wipes out all of the deficit savings that they had there. And Tom Cotton cottoned onto this. Watch here.
Of all the dumb things Joe Biden has done, this may be the dumbest yet. I know it's stiff competition, but just think about how unfair this is for all the Americans who are harmed by this, who are now on the hook for hundreds of billions of dollars of other people's loans. These are people who took out loans. They did so willingly. They did so freely. They need to pay off their loans, just like every other American.
Judge, can we ask you, is it constitutional? Will this eventually, I'm assuming that this is going to end up in the courts?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question other than it's going to end up in the courts. Someone is going to sue. Look, the whole idea, the whole...
I'm not even kidding. I think they will assassinate Supreme Court justices if they overturn this. Like, the abortion issue is one thing, but the abortion issue and then this on top of it would literally be the fucking tilting moment. No, not in a video game. I'm not saying they should do it. I'm just saying, like, I'm speculating that on top of the fucking Roe v. Wade decision, if the Supreme Court was like, nah, actually, $300 billion in debt, you need to restore it. And they literally turned around and fucking did that for 45 million Americans, someone would literally just be like, okay, it's over. It's done. Some motherfucker who was already like, I was saddled with debt, I was going to kill myself, would literally go out and do some insane shit. Think about that. Can you imagine being like, hey, I know your debt for $10,000 was just relief, but 9 fucking psychos in bathrobes decided that that's not the case? I know, H-Bizzle, we already went through the White House bodying everyone who's attacking. No shot, dude. Maybe just cancel yourself again. I'm not saying it's appropriate or good. It's also constitutional. But we know the Supreme Court doesn't really give a shit about that. But if they think that that shit wouldn't happen, they're delusional. Straight up. Brother, you have to remember, 45 million Americans. That's a dude serving you food. That's a dude driving to your house in a fucking in a Uber delivery car. That's the dude cleaning the toilets. That's the maid that comes to your house. These are people that have student loan debt. You fucking add 10K in financial burden back onto them. Statistically speaking, one of them is going to pop off on you. It would turn into the IRA real quick. And I'm not talking about the Inflation Reduction Act, okay? They'd have to be lucky every day. But the working class would only have to be lucky once. Yeah, the guy replacing your fucking car brakes when you take your car into the fucking shop. That guy's got student loan debt. You don't want to fuck with that. That's insane to me. I don't like any overspending on either side. Man, shut the fuck up. You are really a bonehead, dude. I don't like any overspending on either side. What do you mean overspending on either side? The only two sides of this argument are the working class and capital owners. And usually, when the government is overspending, they're overspending on the capital owners. So shut the fuck up. Yeah. The guy that fills your prescriptions at the pharmacy has student loan debt. Go ahead. Fuck with all of them with the Supreme Court. See what happens. It's not appropriate, of course. But you're out of your fucking mind if they would not genuinely see the repercussions of that. That's crazy.